Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. This Friday, we have got an exciting program for you. We are rounding out our series on communications. And we've talked about communications. We've talked about why you should communicate more effectively. We've talked about different techniques and strategies you might use to communicate your message. More importantly, we talked to you about how to develop your network using communications. And today we're going to talk about the most important aspect of communication, and that is your ability to communicate from your values. It is so important. I can't stress how important it is to be able to have your communication strategy aligned with your values and your principles. And we're going to talk about that tremendously in our program today. We're going to get into it. There's so much to talk about, so much to share. We're going to talk about what's going on with the next few weeks in our world. Just to let you know, for those of you who don't know, every quarter I sponsor a mega conference, a mega virtual conference where I bring entrepreneurs and business leaders in from all over the world to try to come together and talk about the things that affect small women and minority owned businesses. And right now, the big thing, the big issue is the CHIPS Act. All of the money that's coming into is flooding into the marketplace right now. It's flooding into all of the CDFIs, it's flooding into all of the organizations, and people are doing what they can to try to get as much a foothold for small businesses as much as possible so that they can grow and create the new economy for the United States of America. And I love that we get the chance to participate in the next new revolution. The next new revolution in business is going to be an amazing opportunity for those of you who are interested in finding out how you can get your share of what's going on with the CHIPS Act. I'm going to suggest that first thing you got to do is read it. Read every line, read every iteration, start to think about, and dream about, how can I participate? How can I get involved? And then start to communicate with your community development financial institutions. Look at your banks, look at the people that are out there that are committed to doing work that's going to develop the small business community and develop the minority business communities. And you'll find that there's opportunities out there for you. Not that your credit rating doesn't matter, or your amount of money, the down payment doesn't matter. It does matter, but you are talking about people who are financial institutions that are willing to and would like to hear your story, and they would like to know what you're planning to do with the loan or the grant they're going to give you. And there's procedures and all that kind of stuff, and they all have those things to follow in every state, in every iteration of this. But there's so much money out there. They're going to have a hard time spending it all. And so it's going to be important that entrepreneurs and business leaders step up and go and get their fair share of that money. If you have a CDFI link of a bank that you found that you really like, that you want to introduce to other people, please put that information in the link. If you are I want us to give a shout out for your business. Put your business information in the link. Put anything you want to share with anybody, whether it's a website or an event that you got going on that you want people to come to. Put it in the link. This is a business-friendly organization. We want to make sure that, especially my friends here at the roundtable, we have to make sure that we do all that we can to promote small businesses and give small businesses an opportunity to promote themselves. So feel free to put whatever information you want to put in the chat. It's going to be linked and broadcast live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube simultaneously. And so all those things are going to be happening. We're going to be doing so much today. Going to have such a good time. Let me see who I got out in the audience. All right, I got my girl Annette's already out there. I see you, Annette. Thank you so very much. Definitely put your information in the chat as soon as you get a chance. I don't know if you're driving or if you're able to, but if you're able to, put your information in the chat so we can share it with everybody and put your business out there. See if we can't get you some more people excited about your wonderful business. I've already got a link in the chat right now. I'm going to repost it just in case you all didn't get a chance to see it. This is for the conference that's coming up in February. This conference is going to be amazing. Each one is great. This one's going to be better. I get better and better and better every time I do this. And so we're going to be able to make sure that we broadcast this conference. We're going to make sure that we make it as inexpensive as possible by getting as many tickets in as we possibly can. And so if you need to get your ticket, go ahead and get your ticket today, because as soon as I get rid of the early bird tickets, I'm going to go straight to the VIP tickets and early bird tickets. The incentive to get your early bird ticket now is literally to get into the raffle. The raffle, we're going to give away $5,000-$10,000 prizes. It's going to be such an amazing raffle, and so we're going to give those prizes out before the conference. And so get your tickets today so you can get your $5,000 gift today. We'll see if as soon as I run out of early bird tickets, I'm gonna post the raffle, and I'm gonna just spin the wheel and see what we do. Come up with the winner. Maybe do a big video broadcast. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but I definitely got gifts to give out, and I want to make sure that I give it to people who are really excited about this conference coming up. It's going to be a full day conference. In fact, the raffle winner is going to be able to come to the VIP lounge on Friday night before the conference, and in the VIP lounge, we're going to get down with all of the speakers and the presenters and the sponsors. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have music. We're going to laugh, and everybody gets to introduce themselves, test out the technology, do all that kind of fun stuff, and get to really know each other, because that's the sexy part, right? And I can't let everybody in there, so because I want to make sure that our speakers and our sponsors, who've been well selected and well chosen, are the kind of people that they want to be able to have their privacy, but they want to get to know each other too. So definitely, if you want to get your ticket right now. I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to hold off. I don't want you to lose the opportunity to get your ticket. If you have any problems with getting your ticket, in fact, I got to put my information out there. If you have any problems with getting your ticket, make sure you contact me, reach out. I'm going to have my information should be scrolling across the screen right about now. Check it out. There it is. And we'll be able to get you going and get you set up and all that kind of good stuff. And we're going to take a little quick break for a little bit of a Coach Powell commercial, and we'll be right back, and we'll get this thing started, guys. I love that little commercial. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna show it to you one more time. My buddy created that commercial for me, and it's so cool. I got my little latte right here, so it's a different cup. This is my blue cup, but I love that latte commercial that was put together for me. I really appreciate them. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to be breaking down the virtues of good communication, basically communicating from your values, communicating in a way that speaks to your heart and allows people to have a sneak peek into the principles and the values that drive everything that you say and do. Now, a lot of people have problems communicating out of values because they don't really know how to assess their values, how to prioritize their values, and then how to articulate them in a meaningful, powerful way. And I'm going to give you some tips on exactly how to do that. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how I made it happen for a client of mine, but I'm going to give you some tips on exactly how to do it. I'm going to do, and it's what I suggest that you do is exactly what I do. And so I know that it works. It works phenomenally well to keep you aligned, to keep you focused, to keep clarity in your life and in your business, to help you say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things, and help others say yes for you to the right things and no for you to the wrong things. So they don't introduce you to a whole bunch of stuff that's just going to cause you drama and pain and anguish and suffering. You don't want any of that kind of stuff. So let's kickstart it off. First of all, there are a ton of values, right? There are a ton of virtues, there are a ton of principles, ideologies, thought processes that drive the human heart, the human spirit. I mean, there's so much out there, all right? But the communication values that work best for you are yours. And I have found that there are 4 key values that drive the kind of communication that attracts people to you and allows those people to understand and benefit from what you have to offer, as well as creating opportunities for them to contribute and become a part of your success in some way by supporting you with their time, talent, and treasure. And before I get started on what those are, I'm going to give you a couple quotes. The 4 values of masterful communication starts with a couple concepts and a couple ideas that I want to share with you. One is from Amit Ray, who wrote "Walking the Path of Compassion." What Dr. Ray wrote was this: open the window of your mind, allow the fresh air, new lights, and new truths to enter. Open the window of your mind, allow the fresh air, new lights, and new truths to enter. You cannot be closed off in your thought processes, in your beliefs, in your anything that drives your opportunity to create change, new environments, new opportunities, new people are going to come into your life. And you can't shut everybody down. You have to know what to let in, what thoughts and ideas, what people to let in. And you do have to let some new thoughts and some new ideas and some new people in, or you won't grow, right? Second thought and idea I want to share with you comes right from the Bible. The book of Matthew says, no one can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. Now, I've heard several iterations of that particular verse in from several different versions of the Bible, right? So this really, but what it essentially says, no matter what version you read, is you cannot split your mind. You cannot split the things that you care about, the things that you think are important, the people that you think are important. You can't split them from this. You know, we live in sort of a bifurcated world where we all want to try to say that business is not personal. I don't know anything more personal than business. Because in reality, you know, every time somebody says to me, I want to hire you, Coach Powell, I want you to work with me, I want you to help me develop my skills, my strategies, my capabilities, whatever it is, every time they do that, that's personal. Because that adds to, you know, not only the value that I drive in the universe and to my clients and so on and so forth, it adds value to me as a person. It makes me feel like, you know, I'm worthy and I'm valuable. It's super important. And so it's personal. And I don't know anybody's business where business is not personal. But we consistently try to drive this message that you can separate personal from business. We tell people don't take it personal, it's just business. As soon as you said that, you know, you kind of automatically know it's super personal. You know, and so you really can't give each other those kinds of reasons and excuses to act out or to be bad with one another. Here's the thing. What we all need to have in order to keep us from straying to the left or straying to the right, but staying on the straight and narrow path, is we need to be intimately familiar with our brilliantly articulated values, meaning we need to have written them down. We need to have written them down in a way and structured them in a way so that when we read them or pay attention to them or share them with other people, that they resonate and they create the kind of energy that they need to create to keep us focused and keep our minds clear so we can do the things that we need to do. Because if we don't do this, if we allow the universe to kind of get in our thoughts and get into our systems, right, really feel what's going on out there in the world all the time without really thinking about what we bring to the table and what we're here to contribute, you know, and be constant reminding of what our purpose is and our mission is, right? When we don't do that, we do ourselves a disservice and we do other people a disservice. And we allow other people, other things, other ideas, other concepts to basically pollute our minds. Either, and it doesn't matter, even if it's good stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's not always bad stuff. It could be good stuff. But the overwhelming amount of stuff is what causes us not to have fractured attention and not be able to focus on the things that we want to focus on, the things that we know we are here to do, the things that the person that we know that we're here to kind of make manifest in life. And I find that when you're great at not only just knowing what your values and principles are, but being able to articulate them and share them with others, it makes all the difference in the world with creating trust, with creating value, with making sure that, you know, people that you come in contact with are the kind of people that you want to come in contact with. The people that you attract into your universe are the kind of people that they're supposed to be there, and they're there for a reason. I'm going to give you some more about that a little bit later. So I'm going to tell you a story about one of my clients. Her name is Valerie. Valerie was a supercharger. She was a hot shot. She was the best of the best. She's one of the best designers, the best interior designers that there are out there. By the time she was only 35 years old, she had already won several 40 out of 40 industry awards, 40 under 40, you know, those awards they give to the young people. Yeah, it's been a long time for me, right? But she was one of the people constantly getting those awards, constantly performing at high levels, constantly getting the accolades from her clients and from people around her. She's winning all kinds of community service awards and all kinds of industry related awards. I mean, she was at the top of the ball game every time you turned around. And she was only 35 years old. You'd think that a person who was experiencing such commercial success and being lauded by her peers so well, you think that she just would have everything all together. Everything would just be working just perfectly for her. But it was not. You see, Valerie came from a family of high achievers. In fact, they're the kind of high achievers they were dealing with are world-changing high achievers. And so both her mother and her father have a doctorate from MIT. They're both working in the technology field. They're both creating and innovating and making technology work in ways that are shaping how we experience technology right now. And they're all about, creating the new realities that we could deal with that make our lives better. And that's what they've been doing for all their entire lives. And so, Valerie and her brothers and sisters, had to deal with that legacy all their lives, to deal with that legacy. Well, her brother and her sister, one older, one younger, they went ahead and followed the family kind of legacy and went into engineering and went into IT, and they're doing great things, and they're going on and having relationships and having kids and all that kind of stuff. And here's poor Valerie, she never felt like she could keep up with that. She always felt like she was more artsy, and she was, more touchy-feely and more into relationships and different things like that. So she never felt comfortable, in that space of math and technology and engineering and so on and so forth, all the STEM stuff, right? She didn't feel good with it. And it just went to her. And now it was, to put a fine tooth on it, not only was that something that, was important to her family, but it was important to her community because yes, Valerie was Asian. Valerie was Chinese, as a matter of fact. And her whole family was all about, we're going to tech, math, engineering. That's all we're going to talk about. Language not important. Art, culture not important. What's important, moving forward in your career is that, you understand how to be a world changer when it comes to this engineering stuff. And so it just never fit well with Valerie. She never felt like she was good. In fact, all the awards she was winning, everything she was doing in her design career made her feel like she was an imposter. It gave her a sense of low self-esteem, and she was just crushed. It wasn't able to enjoy the success that she was able to achieve. She didn't feel like inviting her family to any of the award ceremonies. She didn't want to get them involved with anything. And she certainly, when she would give an award and she would get an award, people ask her to make a speech, and she'd be always like, I don't think I really deserve this, and just really not a happy person in spite of all of the trappings of success. Now, many of you have been following me for years, and that I understand that success does not drive happiness. It's happiness that drives success. And it's important, how you get to happiness is a function largely of what you're able to do to train yourself and your mind to move yourself forward in a way that you can count on and you can feel good about that, right? So it's important to have values. Values are things that you stand on. Right? These are principles and ideas and concepts that matter to you so much so that you won't tolerate working outside of those values or being outside of those values, because if you find yourself outside of those values, you find yourself outside of what Dr. Covey would say is integrity, right? Now, speaking of Dr. Covey, one of the ways that I think is most important to communicate values is a quote. I'm going to read you directly the quote from Dr. Stephen Covey, who is the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dr. Covey says about values this: I believe that a life of integrity is the most fundamental source of personal worth. I do not agree with the popular success literature that says that self-esteem is primarily a matter of mindset, of attitude, that you can psych yourself into peace of mind. Peace of mind comes when your life is in harmony with the true principles and values and in no other way. Let me share that with you one more time so you can get it. Your peace of mind comes when your life is in harmony with the true principles and values and in no other way. One more time. Your peace of mind can only come when your principles and values are aligned and in harmony with the way you live your life and no other way. Now, I'm a Coveyite. Those of you who know me know I'm a Coveyite. I've read everything that Dr. Covey's ever put together, and all of his sons as well. So I'm a 7 Habits guru. I've been trained and thought about that process since I was in college, right? So it's so important that you understand that what Dr. Covey is talking about here is not just about the stuff that we get well trained, the tactics and techniques we get well trained to use and do to accomplish our lives, because those things don't really matter as much as what matters is the people, the ideas, the concepts that we care about, our principles, our values, right? And I just happen to identify there's 4 key values that you must identify with if you're going to be a master level communicator. Right? If you're going to be a master level communicator, you got to accept these. Now, you can add some other things to them. Don't get me wrong. There's a whole bunch of other values that are out there, right? You can go out and look at virtues and values and sort of come up with the different lists. They're out there. I'll Google them, and you'll find tons of them, right? And I suggest you do that because you need to start to think about which ones are the most important ones for you. But here's the 4 ones that I've come up with that I think are most important for people who want to become master communicators. Value number 1 is the value of people. You got to love people. You got to want to be around people. You got to want to be with people. You have to understand. You got to want to understand, want to get to know, want to see what other people have for you. And let me give you an example. I look at every person that I come in contact with, that I'm blessed to come in contact with as a gift, like a Christmas gift underneath the tree. I look at another person like, oh my God, this is a special one that just came in just for me. There's something about them that allowed God, the universe, whatever you believe in, put them in my way for me to get something from this person, for me to learn a lesson, for me to understand something that is only for me, a message for me to deliver. That's why that person is here, and that's why I'm here to listen, to pay attention, to build up some energy, some excitement, some type of thought process that might connect me to them in a way that drives a potential relationship, right? So I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to give them all the love. I'm going to give them all of the connection I possibly can so I can see what it is the Lord has for me in this person. Because I totally believe that there's something there I'm supposed to pay attention to. I'm supposed to know. Might be difficult for me to get to because between me and that other person, maybe our communication style doesn't jive. Maybe I got to make some adjustments and some shifts. I will do that because what's most important is I get this message. I understand what this person has to deliver for me, or this person has to contribute to the flow of human history, and how I might be able to support them, or they might be able to support me, or both. We might be able to be mutual supportive of one another, right? So it's very important. I look at everybody like they're like a gift under the Christmas tree. Now, my job is to love them without judgment, to love them and allow that freedom of loving them to be returned back to me. Sometimes from them, sometimes from everybody else. So the law of reciprocity is going to kick in, and I'm gonna get that care and that love and that attention right back in short order. And it's gonna come back bigger than I gave it out. It's just kind of how this thing works, right? How the law of reciprocity works. And so I'm gonna commit myself to pouring into this person, and the attention. What I'm pouring into this person is my attention, right? I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna ask questions that are engaging and stimulating. I want to find out who they are, what they're all about, what they care about, what's important to them, why we're talking today, what's valuable, where they think they might be going in their future. I'm going to be asking all these kinds of questions because I want to know what is it that I'm supposed to get out of this person, out of this connection, out of this opportunity. I value people so much, and I value people that I'll see them all as precious jewels. These are people that were put in my way for me to have some level of discernment, which is the second value. The second value of communication, good communication, is the value of discernment, right? We talked about loving and caring for people. That's the first value. Second value is having the discernment, having some established process, some established practice by which you will increase your insight and your sensitivity to the people and ideas around you. Right? Discernment doesn't just happen. It's something that happens as a result of your processes and practices that you've put in place. You might read a lot, you might listen to podcasts, you might get information from different places, and you might also find ways to establish and practice that information. So literally for me, when I'm going to create an opportunity like just like this, right? I'm going to look at the neuroscience. I'm going to look at the historical perspectives on this. I'm going to look at the biblical perspectives on this. I'm going to look at this from the ideas, and I'm going to present it to you, in ways that I think works best. But I'm going to have all that information in the back of my mind. I'm going to have all that information stored up, ready to go. So I'm going to right in front of the screen as I'm talking to you, right? I'm going to have all of it ready because, I've gathered the information and I'm processing it. I've processed it already. And so I've got some insight and some wisdom, some practice that I can share with you that makes sense from my own personal life or things I've done before in my past, right? And so here's what John Adams, former president of the United States, has to say about discernment. He says, I must judge for myself. But how can I judge? How can any man judge unless his mind has been opened and enlarged by reading? John Adams knew back then, information is power. You have to get the information. You have to know what's going on. You have to know what's going on around you. You have to know what's going on. And I have a model that I use. I call it the Peddle Model, right? Now, I did not create this, so you can go ahead and look this up. Peddle is a way of analyzing any situation, right? Peddle stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental, right? So that's Peddle, P-E-S-T-L-E. It helps me to look at things and go, okay, what does this look like politically? What does this mean? How might this affect this? What is this economically? What does this mean? How does this work? Socially, how does this function? This idea, this concept? Who's it good for? Who's it not good for? Who's it against? Kind of thing, right? I want to know, right? I want to know technologically what I can use to advance this idea, or is technology not going to work at all? How is technology going to play with this idea? How is the law, the courts, how this is going to play with this idea? And then finally, how is the the ecology of it all working together? How is the system of our natural environment going to come together and inform what happens to this concept, this idea, whatever? And that's going to help me analyze it. I have another analyzing acronym that I use too, called SWOT. SWOT stands, again, I didn't invent that again, but it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I'm going to look at every opportunity. I'm going to go, okay, let me do a SWOT analysis on it. What's strong about this? Where are the strengths? Where are the weaknesses? Where are the opportunities? Where are the threats? Now, it's key to understand about a SWOT analysis is, a lot of information informs the other information, because when there's a weakness, it's a corresponding strength. And where there's strength, it's a corresponding weakness. And there's opportunities, there's a corresponding threat. And where there's the threat, there's a corresponding opportunity. And so you're able to look at that now, put them in the 4 quadrants, right? And you're able to look at that in a meaningful, powerful way. But discernment, you got to have information, you got to analyze the information, and then you got to practice something, right? You got to practice it in a way that brings it alive, that creates an insight, right? Creates wisdom. Wisdom is not, you can't just read your way to wisdom. you got to act, you got to practice, you got to make a habit of it. You got to really come up with a system. That's what I said earlier. It starts with your processes and your practices. How you do what you do is how you're going to be. That's how you're going to develop a level of discernment in whatever it is that you do. So whatever you do repeatedly, whatever you do regularly, you're going to have a level of discernment when it comes to the best ways to get this done, the best ways to conceive the idea, the best way to look at this thing. And no one can take that from you. It's yours. It's almost uniquely yours. So it's very, very important. Now, as a coach, both in racquetball and in life, I have to come up with principles and things that work for people all the time. I have to come up with strategies and techniques that work for people all the time. And I pull them from themselves. I go, okay, where are you strong? Where are your talents going to take you? Where are your greatest gifts giving you? And let's see if we can elevate you based on what you already bring to the table. If you already have some stuff going on, if you already have some ideas, if you already have some brilliance that we need to expose to the world and to highlight and to promote, that's what we're going to do, because it's important that you start from that place, and we're going to get into this in a second. You start from that place where you have a level of discernment, Not only do you have a level of discernment, you have to have a level of courage, which is rule number 3. So, value number 1, again, people. Value number 2, discernment. Value number 3, courage. Courage is that special value that allows you to use your determination, your bravery, and your fortitude to keep going in the midst of any adversity or challenge. No matter what's going on, no matter where it is, no matter what's happening in the world around you, courage allows you to get back on the horse again. Courage allows you to keep on pushing on. Courage allows you to keep moving and moving and moving and moving forward. You got to have that. You got to have it. You got to be able to speak to it, because it's not, from a communication point of view, yes, you can be courageous, but if you can't articulate what that courage does for you, or you can't articulate, where you've come from and what you've been through and what you dealt with and how you've dealt with it and how you've slayed the dragon and how you have won the day in other times in the past, if you can't articulate that, then talking about where you're going and what you're doing in the future, in current tense and in future tense, is not as believable, because really what people need to know is, who are you? Where are you coming from? How did you get to where you are today? Because that's going to inform me more about your possibilities of moving forward. If you're stuck in the same place that you were stuck in 20 years ago today, but you're saying 20 years from now you're going to be different, I'm going to go, what evidence do you have that you can grow? What evidence do you have that you could present to me that would suggest to me that I could believe you, jump on board with you, maybe sponsor you, maybe position myself to be of an aid to you, maybe introduce you to some people who could do that? How can I do that if I can't even believe in you? Because you obviously don't believe enough in you to try. You don't believe enough in you to move yourself forward, to try, because you don't have, you don't, if you had the courage at some point, you don't have it now, because you're not demonstrating that you're growing. I want to know how you've changed from last year to this year. If you can't say if you say I'm doing the same thing I'm doing last year that I'm doing this year, I'm gonna go, okay, what do you need to do this year to change that? And what will you commit to doing this year to change that? Because I can't trust you based on your performance from last year, obviously, right? But if you got something going on, and maybe at some point in time you actually did overcome some hurdles. Maybe you did deal with some situations. You have to be able to articulate those things so that people can go, okay, well, you've done it before. You probably do it again. It's a whole different thing, but that's the thing about trust. Once you start to hear people have credibility and they have a connection to a certain concept, we automatically trust them for another concept, another idea. It's a bias that we all have, but it's a good bias if used properly and used well. Now, I will say you can use it for bad. People who have character and personality and style and joie de vivre, right? These are people sometimes you just fall in love with. You just want to be around them. You want to talk to them. You want to see them. You want to connect with them because it's like, wow, Oprah's in the room. But that's not always the case. And so you've got to learn how to, again, practice those fortitude, love people, but be discerning about that, and then be courageous enough to move forward. Whatever happens, whatever people bring to the table, when it comes to communication, you have to be able to articulate it. You have to be able to tell your story, and tell any story really that relates to your values and your principles, because people can't see your values and principles, but they can understand them if they know how you practice them, or if they know how you put them in place and how you've used them in the past to drive yourself forward, to overcome some situations, right? So be courageous by sharing how you've been courageous. It's very, very important to be able to do. Lao Tzu says, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. You need them both. You need strength and courage. Right, to move forward, to slay the dragon, to chart the uncharted, to go to places where nobody has gone, to innovate the technology, to try the new thing. You need both strength and courage. And guess what? They both come from love. Love of yourself, love of others, love of your process, love of what you think you're here for, love of being passionate about what you got going on. So again, first virtue is people. Second virtue, discernment. Third virtue, courage. Fourth and last virtue, my favorite, passion. I can't say it enough. You've got to be able to tap into your strong beliefs and feelings. You have to be able to do this so well that you're able to pull the same out of other people. When you can pull other people into their own strong beliefs and feelings and get them to speak and talk to and share you with your information from those things, you're going to see them light up. You're going to see them light up like a Christmas tree. You're going to see them like, oh my God, somebody's allowing me to shine and be in my space, to do the thing I love, to talk about the thing I love, to talk about the thing that drives my heart and soul, the thing that makes me happy. Nobody talks to me about that thing. Everybody talks to me about some other stuff they want me to do, blah, 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 productivity, whatever. That doesn't float my boat necessarily. And if it does, then I want to talk about that. But it's very, very important that when you're talking to people, you start to talk to them about the things that drive them, the things that motivate them, the things that matter to them. And you pay good attention to that. And you love them for it. One of my favorite quotes from the Bible, this is from the book of Matthew, says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." If you love people like you say you love people, you love yourself like you say you love yourself, then obviously there's something there that can make you, and that can encourage you to be stronger, that would encourage you to have more passion about what you do, and give you the strength you need to push through it all, give you the strength you need to create it all. I love this quote from Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou says, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Maya Angelou is famous for her wordsmith, right? Her ability to coin a phrase is legendary. So when she talks about this, she's talking about passion that drives everything. She's talking about passion that drives her need to survive. She's talking about passion that drives her ability to thrive. She's talking about passion that gives her compassion for others, and passion that lets her laugh and be humorous and funny, and passion that allows her to be stylish and to come with it in a way that's unique and special for her own personal gifts. That's what passion can do for you. But again, just like courage, you need to be able to articulate it. You need to be able to share it with other people, because keeping your passion just to yourself does you nothing, does you no good when it comes to working with other people, collaborating with other people, creating that wow effect, when you're doing something. But keep it all to yourself, not sharing it, then, that's all locked up. That's all passion that's locked up. It can't go anywhere. It can't do anything. You're not going to be able to receive a heartfelt reaction from somebody else, because you're not sharing any heartfelt information in a way that comes from something that you believe in, something that you think is important. Passion, yes, it satisfies your ego. Yes, it informs your sensibilities. Yes, it develops and delivers your self-esteem and your self-concept really well. But you've got to spend the time, take the time, do your homework, do the thing you need to do to discover for yourself, discern for yourself, identify for yourself where your passions lie, and then use them as leveraging tools to create more of that in your life. Now, Valerie, back to Valerie, she got lucky because she met me. And, she asked about the Vision Quest 90 process. I told her about the Vision Quest 90 process, and she decided I'm just going to give it a try. When the Vision Quest 90 process allowed her to start to balance, and allowed her to start to harmonize her thoughts and her ideas and match them with her actions and her principles, and the things that matter to her started to matter more to her and matter more to others around her, because she started to see people not just see her for what they wanted to see her for. Yeah, she was getting awards and stuff, but she wasn't getting them for the reasons that she wanted to get them. But now that she can articulate who she is and what she's all about and what she wants to contribute to society, to the forward flow of human history, she's able to be appreciated for who she wants to be appreciated for. And then now, when she's appreciated, when she's given awards, she believes and now knows that she's giving people the information that they need to give to authentically appreciate who she is and what she brings to the table, and vice versa. And now she can be genuinely, authentically pleased with everything she's doing. Right now, she's at the top of the table. She's the best of the best when it comes to interior design. She now is on the board of directors of the International Association of Interior Designers. And she's awarded all the time. She's got tons of proteges and mentees that come to her for information. She loves working with each and every one of them. In fact, when she got installed in that seat, she invited her entire family. Some of her family members are on her board of directors right now for her company, and they're loving everything she does and everything she says and everything she puts out because she's being herself. She's allowing herself to shine through. She's not bringing any of that baggage and expectations that basically she placed on herself to the party. That's what I want for each and every one of you all. I want you all to be able to communicate so effectively that you attract and identify the people around you that you need to attract and identify, who are going to empower you, who are going to strengthen you, who are going to give you that gift of real love and real appreciation, true affection, so that you can feel connected and belong to whatever you need to be connected to and belong to, without any of the barriers that traditionally come along with, a new person coming in and all that kind of stuff. You have to learn how to create that energy and that environment around you where people just suck you in. People just, oh yes, I want to be a part. I want him to be a part. I want to be a part of that thing. I want her to be a part of that thing. I want us to be together on that thing, whatever it is. And it can happen if you learn how to communicate the way we just suggested today. Now, I have an article about this. I haven't published it yet because I'm still working on some of the technical issues when it comes to it. But as soon as I publish this article, you're going to learn some great exercises that you can pull from to begin to identify what it is that the values that you want to bring to the table. On top of the 4, right, that I just mentioned, what are the values that you want to bring to the table and what those values might mean to you and how you want to articulate those values and how you want to live them. We got about a good 10 minutes, and I'm going to get into some of the discussion. I see that, oh my God. I got my girl Nancy's out there. Nancy, so good to see you. Thank you so very much that you're here. I'm gonna post your last statement. She says, Marvin has never been accused of lacking passion for business and for his family. If you don't know him, I'm a witness that what you see here is what you get when you're booking for services. I highly recommend you take advantage of his knowledge and wisdom. I love you so much, Nancy. Nancy, you're the best. Absolutely. The BEST best. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Nancy's a brilliant writer, a brilliant strategist in her own right. And she's an empath. And so she can help you kind of figure out what's blocking you, what's keeping you from doing the things you need to be doing the way you need to be doing them. She's pretty bright. Nancy, if you'll post your information about how people can get in contact with you, I will definitely share it again. But definitely, like I said, like you always know, these things are open and an opportunity. I want to give you guys one more opportunity. If you haven't gotten your ticket for the February event, it's only $45 right now. I promise you it's going to go up to some astronomical amount real soon. If you haven't gotten your ticket, get your ticket, because the ticket is going to be going with the raffle. The raffle is going to be a $5,000 and a $10,000 gift is coming out of that raffle. And so, and the $5,000 gift, I'll let you know, it's just an executive coaching package that includes coaching with me using the Vision Quest 90 process for a whole 4 months. Right? That's and it's dirt. You got to get that if you can get that. And then the $10,000 package will include that plus sponsorship to all of the events that we're going to be doing for the rest of 2023. So I hope that you get, and that they'll get your name out there. You get a chance to play at the VIP table with the big dogs that we invite to be presenters and all that kind of good stuff. Oh, my girl Annette, thank you very much for posting your information. I love you, love you, love you. She's out there doing her thing. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely want to get in contact with Annette, and there's my girl Nancy. She's out there. Good to get with you, Nancy. Whatever you need, training, life coaching, writing, all that stuff. Nancy is brilliant at all that stuff. So make sure that if you're looking for somebody who can help you, really big time help you, go for it. Take my advice and give Nancy a call. She's amazing. Okay, it is now 3:46, and I haven't eaten anything more than a snack all day. So I'm gonna take a minute to have a nice healthy meal, and then I'm probably gonna go out driving and get some of this good weather we got while we still got some daylight. Good to see you all. Thank you all for talking to me, If you have any questions, my information is scrolling across the screen. If you want to contact me, you can watch this again on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you need to like it, if you need to subscribe, if you need to do whatever you need to do to make sure you get this broadcast, let's do it. Share it with other people. Don't keep me a secret. And I love to see you all. Looking forward to see you next Friday. I am going back to Panera Bread. We are going to be live. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but I'm going to do both. I'm going to simulcast from Panera Bread. Coming up here sometime in the future, probably in the next year. And pay attention. Next Friday, we start getting into planning. What we need to do to plan to be successful in 2023. And then we're gonna finish that module all the way up through December, and then we're gonna get started cranking right into things you need you to do to create your advisory council, things you need to do to create your network, things you need to do to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to be working, your strategy, your technique, your efficiencies, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, I'm out of time and I'm out of breath. I love you guys. Have a great one. We'll see you next time.